look, just because they're wrong, I still love them. I don't care if they're stupid.
Fat.
No, I'm fat. You guys aren't.
I'm just reminding you.
Anyways, yeah, the great friends. I love them so much.
Hello, welcome to the Couch Gambit podcast. Today we'll be having a discussion on the nuance between childishness and embracing your inner child, mainly because we are all children. By the way, happy Halloween, everybody. We are all here dressed in our costumes.
Happy Halloween.
I am peanut butter without its better half, Jelly. My friend here.
What the fuck? Das is cringe.
Yeah.
Das is cringe.
Get in there.
Skip.
Skip.
Hi, I'm Hillary Clinton, hiding out in the woods.
Canceled, and we're canceled. We haven't been canceled for talking about pedophiles. We haven't been canceled for talking about anything else. But we've been canceled and possibly hanged in prison by a suicide for talking about that. Thanks a lot.
But we're the PC master race. Sorry, I guess.
Oh, yeah, we are.
we can
Yeah.
Introduce this guy before we get into it.
Michaels.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Hi. Hi.
He's also not wearing pants.
Gracious.
It's true.
Shorts.
He is Slenderman, but if he was fatter and gay.
No, so honestly, originally I was going to be the jelly to Liam's peanut butter, but I couldn't find the other half.
And unfortunately,
Oh.
I'm all alone.
yeah, you are. What a fucking loser. So instead, I just have a Superman cape on that's like acting as like a bib, you know, as if I'm a baby. I got a top hat so I can look sophisticated like every Zoomer. And I have headphones that I accidentally dropped in water while submerging my head in water.
See, originally I was, I think I was Charles, but then like my entire outfit was just because all you've worn is the same thing. So I feel like I would honor him and wore the
It
same
was
thing.
very nice, actually. And then
Yeah,
he
and then I
ended up not
changed.
being able to
He's
handle
breaking
it.
Yeah, and then I
continuity right
changed,
now.
and then I
Couldn't
was
handle
gonna
it.
be shirtless for a while and be like a discount Andrew Tate's. But now I'm like, I have a cigar, I'm not shirtless, I have a pumpkin on my head, and I'm not the jelly that mixes with peanut butter. So I don't know what's happening anymore.
He's just doing his own thing right now.
Hi.
Hello,
Thanks,
everybody.
Boo Bear.
It's great to be back. Today we will be discussing whether or not it is childish to engage in
Okay.
things that are quote-unquote
What are
fun.
y'all doing over there?
He's fixing my drink.
Well, I definitely do agree there's a measure of what is considered appropriate for an adult to do. I personally don't really have a problem with adults engaging in forms of fun that are considered quote-unquote childish.
Right.
Yes, I have no problem with an adult going to a theme park or
Right.
maybe enjoying a bouncy house here and there. To me, it's just not that big of a deal.
That's because Liam is a degenerate. I
That is
And protection
incredibly...
it over
Hold on.
to camera.
Wait. That's incredibly disingenuous, but please continue. Please continue.
Anyways,
all right, I'll chop.
but yes, I personally believe that there is some nuance. Now, we do have some disagreements
down, Charles.
with my friend Charles here and my friend Jacob.
Which is a first, by the way. By the way, for the most part, we've all really agreed on like everything because it's an echo chamber, guys. You know, it's a great echo chamber. Just be a part of the echo chamber. You know, never have conflicting ideals or ideas.
Never
you know?
have your own opinion.
ever.
No.
And we're
Because-
right anyways.
It's not healthy, yeah. We're right.
Look,
we're right.
look,
don't
just
listen
because-
to any other news source. If you hear any other news source, just cancel that crap out.
Audience, all 202 subscribers now?
203.
200,
That's
203,
Number
baby.
one,
We got
number
a
203, we care about you.
Exactly. But
Love
for
y'all,
all
love
203
y'all.
subscribers and all the other people who like to leave really awesome comments, such as calling us retarded,
And fat.
We love
and
you.
fat,
And
especially
nasally
fat, especially fat,
And nasally voiced.
and nasally
yeah.
voice. Look, just because my very good friends Jacob and Mikey / Charles is incredibly wrong on this topic.
Sorry.
Like it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, Liam and I we care about them. Like I don't care if they're stupid, retarded.
Fat.
No, I'm fat. You guys aren't.
I'm just reminding you.
Anyways, yeah, the great friends. I love them so much. I could not do any better. Anyways, yeah, look, just because they're wrong, I still love them, and I will gladly welcome different opinions, even though they're wrong. Even though they're wrong. Anyways, please continue, Liam.
Anyways, what I was going to start off with is basically there's been kind of a reaction in conservative circles to adults going to Disneyland and spending their money there when they don't have kids, or adults bouncing in bouncing houses if they don't have kids. And while I do agree that there is an extent to where it gets a little odd and a little weird, I personally don't really see the big deal in adults engaging in certain types of fun that, again, are quote-unquote childish. But before we continue the discussion, I want to get to Charles' opinion on it, because he was the one that had an immediate reaction when I brought this up. He was like, no, wrong.
Which again, I do find it interesting and enjoyable to finally have something where we can really just duke it out. So
yeah, this is actually the first, I think, not even major, but disagreement that we've had on this podcast.
Yeah. I didn't even know that you were in opposition to this. I was in a little bit in opposition to this, and like on the car right here, I knew what Liam was going to get into, and I have quite a few disagreements with it. Like, I agree on some ends, because I don't think it's like, geez, by the way, Charles made some drinks, and there's some like ice over here that's making noises and stuff.
I'm thinking the bowl's about to break.
I know. I
hope it does.
It's getting louder and louder. It's like a bomb that's about to go off. Anyway, there's some things that I disagree with, but I didn't know that we were agreeing and the other two were disagreeing. So this is going to be a full out debate.
Absolutely.
For once, it's not no dads versus dads.
Right. Yeah, this is a fulfilled childhood versus unfulfilled childhood.
Look. At the end of the day, my dad did tell me he cared about me. So, at the end, I kind of won.
Well, look at it
at the expense of his life.
Look at it in a.
Where's Josh? Give me Josh.
Look at it in a very symbolic sense. Like, look what Charles is dressed like. Charles is dressed like someone that he was taught how to survive. He was taught how to defend for himself. He has a gun next to him, probably named Betsy. He was told how to name things properly. He's a man's man. Meanwhile, you are sitting there in your underpants in a Superman costume. Your dad taught you how to fit in with the lesbians.
You're wearing real 3D glasses.
Dude, yeah. I don't want to hear that from you. Anyways, no, honestly,
I'm wearing 3D glasses.
Honestly, let's get back on the topic. So yes, Mikey, you disagree fundamentally with Liam and I's position. Same with you, Jacob. You disagree. So
yeah, I want to clarify, not wholeheartedly disagree, because there are some things that I don't think it's a bad thing for adults to have fun. It depends on the circumstance, and you're going to understand what that means in just a second. It really does depend on the circumstance.
Well, yeah, there certainly is some nuance. There certainly is some nuance to the whole ordeal. But I think for the most part, the idea that adults can just never indulge in, say, going to play laser tag, or going to a trampoline park, or going to a theme park, is kind of ridiculous, because I think it kind of just restricts adults to a certain type of fun. Like, if you're an adult, your type of fun is you go to the bar and you drink, and that's it. Maybe you. That's pretty much it. But if you're a kid, you get to do a bunch of other things. There's definitely concerning things, but I want to kind of open up the discussion of: do you think it is okay for adults themselves to go to a theme park?
Depends on the theme park.
Well,
You're talking about Six Flags?
I was about to say, hold on. Theme parks are a broad range of...
Okay, let's go down the road. Let's go in specifics. Disney World.
They're alone? Is it like...
Yeah, what are we talking? Are we alone?
Like on a whim. I'm saying like not every day, because if you're going to Disneyland every day, certainly you're not taking care of the things that you ought to be taking care of.
And you have
but
way too much free time.
Well,
You're
yeah, I'm just saying,
really bad with money.
Like
Yes.
as an adult, like let's say you're in Florida and you're like, you know what? I want to go to Disneyland. I've never been to Disneyland. Let me go ahead and check it out.
Okay, this is one thing that I completely understand. If you missed out on something in your childhood and you're trying to experience it to understand what other people are talking about whenever they refer back to like memories that they had, I get it, 100%. That's an acceptable reason to want to go unlock a certain part of your childhood that you might have missed out on, but to go back and relive it, like if you're saying, you know what, I really loved this back when I was a kid, and then you go back and you get more than 5 minutes in and you're still like gung-ho about it, I think it's a little weird.
Well, my question to you is, what's the primary difference? Because I don't see any problem with saying, you know what, I enjoyed this as a kid. Let me here now as an adult revisit it and enjoy it again.
Again, you can revisit it. It's only whenever you like start to indulge in it after getting that little taste of nostalgia again, and then like it becomes sort of a hobby, or it becomes a piece of your personality again. That's weird to me.
Well, yeah, if you're talking about like it eventually derailing to a situation where you fully neglect what you have to do as an adult, then I can agree with you. But what I'm saying is, as long as it doesn't take away from what you're doing as an adult, as long as it doesn't, for lack of a better term, negates your responsibility as an adult, then I don't see the problem.
I think there are certain aspects in an adult's life that they have to understand that they have to surrender as a kid. So, like,
I've
again,
got a
if we're gonna get into
example too.
I think if we're gonna get into specifics, I think that if you're going to Disney World as an adult, I think that's kind of strange because. Look, compare like Disney World to Six Flags. Disney World is very, very specifically meant for kids. Not in every aspect, I will say, but vast 99% majority aspect, it is made for kids. It is made for kids' entertainment. It's based on multiple kids' movies, and it's primarily marketed as a family location to where you take your kids to. It's for families. It's for little kids. I think it's kind of weird if an adult, a grown man, kind of just enters a location like, you know what, I'm going to check this out today. I'm going to say hi to Mickey Mouse. It's a little weird, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah. Big
So,
time.
yeah.
Especially if they start seeking out the characters. That's weird.
Oh, dear Lord. If you start
That's
talking
weird.
to the characters,
Yeah.
step away, son.
Michael,
Be gone, Satan.
Michael, you have a certain look on your face.
No,
I want
I
you
wish
to
for,
expand
I
on
wish
this.
for Mikey/Charles to get to his example, and then I will comment.
Yes, you do your example because I got to go take my drink to the bathroom.
Breaking the seal already. Fucking noob.
Hi.
What the fuck? And now go on, Mikey.
Okay, so the one that there's a couple that come to mind. One is theme park related, and it's the Great Wolf Lodge's little like adventure for kids where they give you a wand and it's like a treasure hunt where I don't know what the word is for it. You're given like little objectives and stuff, and you have to scan in to each spot, and like it takes you on a little adventure. And it's great for kids. Whole lot of fun. Every kid that I knew that went on it, raved about it, super jealous of it as a kid. And then there are adults who join in on it, and it's weird. It's weird. You're given a little plastic wand to go around with a bunch of 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds to like play in this game that I don't get it.
Well, here's the thing. I can almost agree with you, and I think there is a primary difference between some engaging in things that kids engage in that kind of ruin your integrity as an adult versus engaging in things that kids would otherwise engage in that ultimately have no effect on yourself, your integrity, or anyone else.
Even if there weren't kids there, it'd be weird. It'd be really weird to run around with a
that's what I'm
plastic
saying.
wand.
Like there's certain things that are, again, just downright childish that adults shouldn't do, and some things that violate your integrity as an adult. But there's also plenty of things that children engage in that you can engage in that don't violate your integrity as an adult at all. To me, like say it's the difference between watching like a classic Disney film versus watching Sesame Street. If you watch Sesame Street and you have a bunch of puppets kind of talking down to you, well, not talking about numbers, math, and the alphabet, yeah, that is a little weird. I can forfeit that. But to me, I don't see the same resemblance in saying watching Snow White or watching Pinocchio or watching Bambi.
I can agree with Liam on this part. Like, if you're watching like classic Disney films, like very specifically classic Disney films, most of those have a lot of depth if you actually dig into it. Like Lion King, it is a very basic story, but actually has a lot of depth to it. I can still watch that movie to this day. Even one of my favorite anime movies of all time, animated movies of all time, is Finding Nemo. I love that movie, and I can watch that by myself, no problem. But I do think there's a difference between watching that and watching like Peppa Pig. It's a huge difference.
And not only that, there's a difference between y'all two in terms of film aficionados versus somebody like myself, where I'm not watching movies for the for like an analysis of how the story beat progresses and how the characters develop and all that kind of stuff. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't watch the movies for to like understand the what would you even? I don't know, man. There's a difference between appreciating a film for its accomplishments versus like genuinely enjoying a film in the way that
it was
like
I
like
see
trying to relive your childhood.
Yeah,
like it's totally different. If you're seeing a movie as in the same way that you're seeing it or that you saw it as a kid, it's weird. Super weird.
I kind of disagree with you on that. So I think there's a huge thing to say about nostalgia, and it's the reason why Disney banks on nostalgia so freaking hard, and it's the reason why the Lion King remake, the live action, the quote unquote live action movie made as much money as it did, is because so many people grew up with the Lion King. Because it's not little kids that necessarily want to go see the Lion King, it's adults that are bringing their kids and adults that are also going to go see that movie. And I think it says something that so many people grew up with the Lion King and want to see what like the new version has to do. Obviously that movie was terrible and a awful reimagine, but I don't think nostalgia necessarily is a bad thing, because nostalgia for me is the Lion King. I loved the Lion King as a kid. I pretended to be a lion. I identified as a lion. If I didn't change my childish ways, I still would be a lion nowadays. But my goodness, like that movie, like
Stop it.
more like
Stop it.
Cancel.
Stop it.
But
right.
no, like that movie has a resonance in me for nostalgia, and it means a lot to me personally. Same with Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo was also the first movie I saw in theater, so it also means a lot to me too. Yeah.
If I may. So my stance is
And a
pretty
big body.
like my stance is just cut and dry on this. I literally do not care. Let me explain. Is what they're doing harming anyone? No. And if it is, in your point of view, please explain it to me, and I will hear you out. Okay.
I can do that.
No.
Well,
No.
Usually do that.
Hold on,
Yeah.
No. Seriously, because here's my thing. What you do with your life, whether it's what free activities you want to do, if you are not actively doing anything despicable, I literally just don't care. Like, what you do with your money, what you do with your free time, you are your own person, right? Also, man, it just sounds like you guys have no joy in your lives. That's what it sounds like to me. Okay, look, here's the thing. With your example of the Great Wolf, whatever it's called, the magical wand experiencing, like, there's no nostalgia or thing to tie an adult to that. Like, sure, I get your point of view on that. But we all grew up with the Disney characters. It's not just no. Hold on. Seriously, it's just because it was for kids, right? I mean, you grew up with it, right? Even if you can go as many times as you want because that's your childhood, right? What you do after months and months of on the grind doing whatever it is you got to do to make a living, like be you, man. Now, granted, if you're doing anything nefarious, like fucking castrate the guy or fucking kill the chick. I don't care.
We're talking about pedophiles. Can we still say that after the first?
Yes.
Oh yeah, pedophiles. We
No,
don't.
but like
It hasn't been very clear. We don't
I need
like
to
those
understand
guys.
the point of view of why it's bad. That's what I'm not
Yeah,
understanding.
yeah.
Well, your point of view is coming from kind of a more nuanced, more kind of libertarian stance, if you will, of you just don't care. But talking about the adults that engage in these things,
Sure.
is it necessarily good for them personally to engage in
Why
these
is it
things?
bad for them?
Why is it bad for them? Well, that's what I'm asking.
I
you.
think it's detrimental
So
to.
there's a difference
You want
before.
this? You can have this.
Well, there's a difference between
I'll
it not
go.
harming other people. So here's the thing.
No, but okay, I don't see how it harms other people,
Sure.
and I don't see how it harms themselves. Because if they are engaging in their lives, right, like they're doing what they're supposed to do, they go to work, they contribute to society, right? They tick all the boxes. They go to Disney World just to have a good old time. They go to the Star Wars thing to build their own lightsaber. That's cool. They decide to shake hands with Mickey Mouse. More power to you. Awesome. I'm all for it. I personally don't see why there's such a big problem with it.
100%. Okay, that's just more of the idea that I wanted to get behind is whether or not it was problematic for the individual to
No,
engage in
yeah,
such
look,
things themselves.
for me,
like,
what-
like ultimately, I don't think anyone can honestly say that it is a danger to other people for.
Well, we are about to hear their stance. You're about to say some nonsense.
They're about to get
Okay?
some
No, seriously.
opinions on why-
I'm all for
why
hearing.
adults watching
I'm
Disney
all for
movies
hearing their
or
point of view,
going to theme
but
parks
again,
is-
I don't
seriously.
think that they are all for hearing our point of view. They've just
Oh,
been,
you-
No,
you have the
It's
floor.
just
You have the floor.
You have the floor.
Forget you
Go
guys.
ahead. No, go
the
ahead.
floor.
Who wishes to go first out of the two of
Oh,
you?
you got this.
No. I do think it depends. I think if you're going to Disneyland with your kids, then I think that's a fine thing to do. Obviously, introduce your kids to the rides, introduce your kids to all this stuff. But again, I feel like if you're going to Disney World alone, that's a very strange thing to do.
But why?
And maybe I can't but why?
But why?
Because you're going to Disney World alone. It's a weird as an adult.
But why?
I do think that some things are expected of you as an adult that shouldn't be expected of you as a kid.
No. Okay.
Certain
No.
things-
When you are an adult,
Liam,
you are
scoot.
this is what is expected of you to be as an adult, right? You live without leeching off of other people. Okay, you pay your bills, you go to work.
Sure.
Okay? I don't understand what they do on their free time affects that in any way. If they're contributing to society, if they're being mature enough.
I'm not saying in any way that it should affect society. I don't think the argument that it's not affecting anybody. Oh, it's not affecting anyone. I don't think that's a good argument. I don't think that's a good reason for them to not go to Disney World. I don't think that's a good reason.
This is no longer
Yeah.
this is no longer about is it harmful to other people if they go to Disney World? You're saying that someone lacks a certain level of maturity and it stagnates their progress as an individual because they go to Disney World. But I don't see that again, for me, okay, I would love to go to Disney World, whether it's with you guys or it's by myself, okay? I pay my bills. I pay, I live my life on my own. I help my mom out when she needs help. I help my friends out when they need help.
Sure.
So are you saying if I go to Disney World, I've suddenly become stagnant in my maturity?
If you go to Disney World alone, I think there's some argument to say if you go to Disney World with a group of friends.
Okay,
I don't think that's the
sure.
greatest thing in the world to do, but I don't think. But specifically the example of going to Disney World alone for your own personal enjoyment, I don't think that's the place you should necessarily go to.
So, okay,
I think that
for the
you should
record,
definitely.
You're
go ahead.
also asking to take you as an example when it would be completely out of character for you to just drop everything and go to Disney World.
Well,
100%.
no. Hold on. Who says people randomly just drop everything, including their work lives, just to go to Disney World?
When you live in Texas and you fly across 4 states to go to
Well,
Disney World,
of
you'd be
course
dropping everything to go to Disney
No, of course the responsible thing is in months ahead of time. It's like, hey, I have a trip planned. I would like to engage in this.
Yeah, I was about to say you could just put in vacation
Yeah.
time, go to
what you do
Florida
on your
and visit
vacation time
Disney
is
World
up
on
to
one of
you.
your days when you're in the States.
Because vacation time is something you have earned because you are a working adult. So who cares if what you do is quote, inherently childish?
My point is not on the fact that who cares what it is, because to be honest, yes, I don't necessarily care of what someone else does outside of me does not affect me. I agree with that, but that's not the argument I'm making. I'm arguing for the individual. An example, is that healthy for the person to just go out to Disney World alone by themselves when they could be engaging in other activities that are
on the
to
same.
their
No,
maturity
we are
growth?
on.
I
No.
completely agree.
We are on the same. We're on the same top. We are on the same topic though, because
Right.
I'm trying to address that
Sure.
this is for the individual. They do everything correct in life. What's up, Liam?
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I don't understand. So for whatever reason, there's a line being drawn, even on y'all's side, of what's too far. If somebody drops everything to go to like a My Little Pony convention, is that too far?
I literally don't care.
Okay.
What they do, seriously, yes. Would I personally go to some brony convention? No, because I don't partake in that. But there are plenty of grown adults, whether they're in IT, I don't care what they do, right? They go to work, right? They've paid their dues, all right? And sometimes, as long as it's like not harmful in a way where it's harmful to themselves or harmful to other people, what you do with your free time, what you do with your money is up to you. Like, I don't care. Like, okay, if a billionaire just spends billions upon billions of dollars on a shit ton of supercars or whatever, do I think it's a stupid thing to do? Sure. But that's their money. It's up to them.
Sure, but again, as a reminder, I'm not arguing on the basis of it if it affects other people, because I agree.
I'm not even
it doesn't
saying about other
necessarily-
people.
It doesn't.
But
Yeah.
that was the thing. Like,
I'm arguing the individual base.
Michael's point is talking about the individual. Ultimately, he was bringing up the point of an individual person, i.e., himself, in this situation,
Sure,
going
you're
to
right.
Disney World, given the fact that he is a responsible adult in his daily life, and he takes the time to go to Florida, maybe because he wants to visit Disney World. Maybe he wants to do Disney World plus a bunch of other things. It was a specific individual example, but you keep going back to the whole idea of what is it bad for the individual. He's already acknowledged that.
So I can also get into this. Apathy has led us down a horrible path in terms of just societal effect, where we normalize something that used to be generally viewed horribly on. I mean, it's dressing up in general, like as your favorite characters, whether it's Star Wars or Disney or whatever, used to be weird. It was weird. It's something you'd be ostracized for. And you had to be in your own niche camp in order to be able to commit to it. I think that the further down the rabbit hole we go with this, the worse it's going to get. And just saying, oh, well, what they do with their own time, what they do with their own money is their own business, isn't the right attitude whenever we're talking about things that really can degrade society. And I understand that saying that somebody going to Disney World is going to degrade society is a bit extreme. However, you can look to a pretty reasonable conclusion of people dressing up as Disney characters in public and going about their daily lives dressed as princesses and other Disney characters. I think that's completely reasonable to conclude is a result of apathy.
Yeah. The very basis of my argument, I don't think that it is a appropriate way for adults to go about their lives. Because again, like if you're going to be examples for your kids, even if you're going to be examples for your kids, if you're going to be examples for other people's kids, in general, that is not a great way for adults to show. Adults should be adults. I'm not saying that adults can't enjoy childish things. I'm not going full into the end, but I am saying that adults should, at some point in time, embrace adulthood and surrender some of their old childish ways. And that includes going to Disney World by yourself.
Okay, here's the thing. So you're talking about sacrificing, the childish desire to do things, right? Literally, people do that all the time by going to work and being responsible with their finances.
Well, they don't surrender that willingly. They have to.
Yes, they have to. That's why it's a sacrifice,
Sure.
Jacob.
Sure.
So what they do with their fucking free time is, because here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think what you guys are talking about is things taken to the extreme. Everything on planet Earth taken to the extreme can have a negative effect. When it comes to alcohol, when it comes to gambling, and yes, when it comes to embracing, your childish antics, like going to Disney. If you go to Disney World every fucking day, sure, I can agree with you on that. No one should do that. no one should do that at all because that is harmful to you as an individual. But just because you want to do something that it might be inherently childish, I don't see a problem with that. I can't fathom it because you make sacrifices every day to live your life as a working adult, okay? So, if my buddy told me that, hey, man, I'm going to go to a fucking brony convention, honestly, I'd be like, well, good for you, man. Personally, I don't fucking get it, but you work like 8 hours a day, you work 40-hour weeks, good, whatever, dude.
I got no response to that.
I'm on board with him. Again, as long as it does not affect your ability to be a mature adult in society, then at the end of the day, it honestly doesn't even hurt yourself.
Exactly.
It literally has
seriously,
no effect on anyone
because
else.
the argument I've heard constantly is if you constantly indulge in this vice, but that is literally every vice.
Exactly.
Alcohol, drugs, gambling.
Yes,
Sure, but
Now,
there's a
hold on.
agree.
yeah,
100% I agree.
Think about it this way.
But you're acting as if someone who goes to Disney World is inherently indulges in that vice every day.
I think that encouraging people to be to meet the absolute maximum of their potential is a net good thing.
100%.
And that what do you call it? Gatekeeping.
Yeah, gatekeeping.
So-
yeah.
so-
Gatekeeping
so
maturity
it's
is a pretty good thing
It's
to do.
discouraging people to meet the absolute max of their potential if they decide to go on vacation and go to Disney World or perhaps go like fucking watch a Disney movie.
Okay, hold
or
on.
something like
Okay,
that.
here, all right. How about this? Did we all watch the Matt Walsh video?
I have in the past.
I have.
Of
yes.
fucking course you didn't watch it recently. Okay, so when he was like,
great.
man,
I
why?
watched it.
No. You
It's
know
actually exactly what I was thinking.
You know why it's a terrible fucking video? Because here's what he said, okay? So this okay. He gave an example of like, why would people use all this money to go to Disney World where you can go to fucking Alaska? What do you do in fucking Alaska? You do a lot of fucking sightseeing. I literally looked up what to do in Alaska, and I kid you fucking not. 90% of the shit that's so exciting to do in Alaska is, oh, look at some fucking bears. Look at water crash against fucking ice. Look it up your fucking selves. Yes, there's a lot of beautiful fucking scenery, but fuck, man, to me, that sounds boring as fucking hell.
I'm not
you
gonna
what,
lie.
the-
Alaska sounds more appealing than that.
I tell you what.
Because you
Well,
lack joy.
I've done some of this stuff.
I'm
First of all,
very happy.
First of all, you can climb the highest mountain in the U.S.
Beautiful.
Second of
Okay.
all, not okay. You know the amount of perspective that it gives you to get out in that sort of environment.
I
and
will
to
100%
see?
agree. Genuinely, any mountain, like if you went like even in Colorado, the mountaintops in Colorado. If you ever climbed to the mountaintops in Colorado, like you and me and Liam actually did this stuff. And when we went to the mountaintops in Colorado, the beautiful
Michael.
perspective of like
Sure.
God's creation, and
Sure.
everything, like
Sure.
all of that stuff is way more beautiful, way
Here's-
more
hold on.
humbling. Than
I'm sure
anything in Disneyland.
I am sure it's beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
I am sure it's gorgeous. I will not deny that. But not everyone
Mickey is more
wants to do
pretty.
that.
But no,
No, no. Seriously, not everyone wants to go sightseeing on a fucking trip. Some people want to do other things. What is wrong with that?
like
Liam?
on a serious note, sure, all those things are great. Do not get me wrong, but let's just say for like you want to again, as Michael was saying, all the examples you bring up kind of derail into someone making this a habit, which I can agree. At the end of the day, you make anything a habit, it can be
very detrimental.
It can be very
We can
detrimental.
all agree
My
on
question to y'all is: let's say there's a grown man, does everything he needs to do. He takes care of his family. He pays his bill. He goes to work every day. He puts in some vacation time, maybe like once a year. With or without his family, it doesn't really matter. Just to kind of like, visit a theme park. Just once a year.
If
To
he
be
goes
fair,
without
you're-
his family, I'm judging.
Maybe his family's
Very
with
much.
other family.
Very
Like,
much.
If you bring your family,
No,
That's it.
no,
Cut the
Liam,
family
Liam,
out.
no,
Hold
cut
on,
the,
hold on,
no,
hold on.
Liam. The problem
leave
with that
your
example
family
is you're
behind,
bringing
I'd
family into the equation.
Sure,
No,
sure.
seriously,
Cut the family out of it.
no, because not everyone is a family man. Some people don't
Yeah.
have families yet. Okay,
Yeah.
look, there are plenty of single people where I don't understand the problem, and also you're also bringing into the fact that like there's a scale to it or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Look, if you have a problem with someone going to Disney World, why don't you have a problem with someone watching Disney movies?
I do. I
He
do.
knows. He's
Wait a
please,
minute.
he's
Okay, this is mostly for Jacob. then.
To
This is for me.
be fair, like again, I brought up the example. I don't necessarily have an issue with people watching Disney movies, but you are bringing up the most very specifically morally amazing example of every human being. I don't think that's.
And
every
you
human
are bringing
being.
up the
No.
morally bankrupt every
No, I'm
time.
not. I
Yes,
didn't-
you are.
When
You
did I
absolutely
bring-
no,
Hold
no,
on,
because
no,
you keep
stop,
no.
stop. I didn't bring up any example whatsoever. I just said that it's not cool to do this. You brought up the most morally amazing example of human. I'm just saying, as a general specific, I don't think it is a great idea for adults to pursue Disney World alone. Generally speaking, that's not the greatest.
But the
thing that
examples
should
you give
pursue
are
as your
people who
adult
indulge in
career.
it every time. Like, there's nothing wrong with if they look every couple of years, right?
Yeah.
And it's not even once a year thing, okay? But like, if they want to go every couple of years to go to fucking Disney World, I don't see the issue. I just I can't
alone.
Alone, I see.
No, like,
Alone is so much.
Why are
worse.
they
Why?
going to Disney
Why are you
World?
going alone?
okay, give me. I want a detailed reason of why it is bad to go to Disney World alone.
Let's go.
Because I can't see a good reason to go to Disney World.
There we go.
Because that's what they want to do.
hold on.
It's their money. It's their
Okay.
free time.
Without hold on. Without
I was about to say some
hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
I was about
Without-
to say something.
All right, Liam, please.
Without derailing it
extreme
into
examples.
the worst possible case scenario,
Pitfalls.
give me a legitimate reason why it is wrong on occasion, on say every couple years, for an adult to decide to go to Disney World.
By himself.
I'd have to know the reason, and I'd be
Without it-
responding to
without
the
it-
reason, and I cannot fathom a good reason that somebody would want to go to Disney World alone. I'd be responding to their reason.
Because
They would
it's
be making
fun.
the
For me-
no, it's no.
Oh no!
Okay.
But fun is no. Fun is subjective. Fun is subjective. You cannot say that because someone has fun doing this, it is wrong.
why
Fun is
would
a
they have-
subjective
Fun is
thing.
subjective,
I have
but
fun playing
morality
Magic the
still
Gathering.
exists, my
You don't
dude.
like Magic the Gathering. You don't even know what it is. I like playing D&D. You don't like playing D&D. You don't even want to fucking try it. It's a subjective thing. What people have fun doing is all fucking subjective.
You can agree that yes, fun is subjective to that person.
Sure.
However, you have to agree that maturity is a real thing, and getting to the point of being an actual freaking adult, not an actual adult where like an 18-year-old is officially an adult saying like, oh, I'm adulting. No, you actually have to mentally be an adult, and to do that is to surrender some certain childish activities. I'm not saying, hold on. I'm not saying all the time. I agreed with you. I agreed with you too. I'm not saying surrender every
with all
childish
of you.
activity. I am not saying surrender every Disney movie. Thank you, Charles. I'm not saying surrender every single activity that makes you, because again, I agreed with nostalgia. I agreed with certain childish things, but at the end of the day, you're an adult.
Yes!
And that should
Wait,
be the ultimate
hey,
value
I
of
don't
you
know how many
maturing
times I have
as
to
an
say
adult.
this.
You're not a kid anymore.
We can compromise on this by calling it a guilty pleasure because there needs to be guilt. You should be ashamed.
No! Look!
All right?
No!
It's okay. It's okay, but you should
No.
feel shame
Seriously.
about it. And then we can compromise.
I'm not understand. Okay, look. Liam, please go. You can go. I
You go
talked to
first. You go first.
No, seriously, I don't know how many times I have to say this. Okay, like, look, I'm not even talking about morally righteous people. If the average guy who goes to work 5 days out of the week, okay, they work.
I feel like we're circling around these.
No,
points, man.
because you keep doing that.
Hold on.
No,
hold on.
seriously.
What do you mean? You're
No,
the same
no,
thing.
because because you keep saying that people have to make sacrifices, okay? That they can't do childish things. But here's the thing: they make sacrifices every day. They pay. When you're a kid, you don't have bills to pay. Yes, pay. Okay, you don't have to worry about money. You don't have to worry about making financial decisions. There's so many things you don't have to worry about. When you are a working adult, every day you constantly make decisions that impact your financial future. Okay? Now, when someone takes fucking vacation, why does it fucking matter that for the 5 days or the week or the 3 days of their vacation time, they decide to go to fucking Disney World and shake hands with Mickey
It
Mouse?
doesn't matter to me.
No.
But it should matter to that person.
No,
matters to
why
me.
does it matter to that person?
Because they
no,
are no.
Because it shows that you haven't learned from the life experiences that have brought you to the point of acknowledging, yes, I have to work to live, and I have to and living to work is part of the reality of it until you retire.
100%.
And forming your life.
Hold on.
Forming your life around creating a successful series of habits and priorities in your life is important, and incorporating nostalgia and childhood tendencies into that priority list is weird. It's just out of whack.
Hold on.
It's not something that contributes to a productive life and society.
My question to you is why. Okay, first of all, you brought up the fact that you would be ultimately surrendering your maturity to do such a thing. Like, even if it's like once in 10 years, you surrender your maturity at that one point, but you're mature the rest of the time. What does it matter?
I'm not saying.
Like,
I don't know if you're mature if you're going to Disney World alone.
But here's the thing.
Oh my
Gosh.
Look,
like, are you mature every single moment of your life?
No. You don't, but that doesn't
mean
mean
that
that other people
Pursue
can't.
it, my dude.
I don't disagree. It doesn't mean that you have to be mature every single second. But here's the thing. It's good to be mature. I'm on board with that. Going to Disneyland one day out of the year, or one day every year, or a few
Of
days.
all
Wait
the
a
things
minute.
that
But
you
here's the
could
thing.
do as
But
an
here's the thing.
adult, you want to go to the world where there's
But
a
again, to
giant
the
mouse in
point.
a costume?
Okay,
Of
sure.
all places?
Sure, why
me
not?
ask you this.
It's
There's a lot of reasons why not. That's
Hold
the
on.
problem.
Let me ask you-
We're
let me
trying
ask you
to
this.
explain it, and
Jacob,
y'all are rejecting
Mikey,
it.
Let me ask you this. Okay, is this better to you? Instead of Disney World, they decide, you know what? I'm just gonna go to Las Vegas and I'm gonna gamble. And you know, gambling is very addictive, and gambling can ruin someone's fucking life.
It's only a problem if you lose.
No.
No, seriously, no. I need an actual, genuine response. Would you prefer someone once a year to go to fucking Las Vegas, gamble, or would you prefer them to go to Disney?
I agree.
It's like-
I disagree in both scenarios. I don't think.
No, seriously.
Okay, wait,
No,
hold on.
It's like asking somebody if you, and it's not like asking somebody, but like I could ask you, would you prefer that somebody shoot somebody on the street?
That is
Or
complete.
would you-
No.
No, they're both bad
no.
things. Is my point. They're both bad things. I wouldn't prefer that they do either thing. I'd prefer that they do something.
So
that's-
you equate someone
agree.
going to
Like,
Disney World once a
one of
year
these things does
or
not
twice a
equate
year
to the
or
other.
3 times a year.
Either
Someone
way.
gambling.
This is crazy. It's not about preference.
Okay. So
Besides
my
being
gosh.
So when
productive,
we're
this
talking
is
about
being
productive,
non-productive.
let's take productive out of it because for
No,
example,
but that's the whole
here's the
thing.
People do productive things
Maturity
every.
is
Hold on.
productiveness.
People
That's
do
the
productive
point.
again. Back to his point. People do productive things every single day. If they decide to go and have some fun, if you go to a bar, hold on, Charles. If you go to a bar, are you doing something productive?
I'm going to shoot pool, which is what I'm trying to do for a living.
Okay, let's say there's no.
Yes,
You're going to a
it
bar
is
to drink.
productive.
You're going to a bar to drink. Is that productive?
No.
Exactly. But
Okay,
you do
okay,
it
no,
anyway.
let me-
Why?
Unless you're trying
hold
to
on.
increase your social standing, in
To-
which case there is a priority list for that.
To clarify, neither me and Charles said it is not good to not have fun.
Right.
You both can acknowledge that. We did not say it's not good to not have fun.
But it's bad to have certain types of fun.
It's bad to have certain I will 100%
Bad to have
agree with
certain
that.
types of fun.
Because
Explain-
certain types of
explain why
because
the
certain types
type
of fun
is bad.
should not be considered when you are an
Because of
adult. You should
degeneracy.
mature as an adult.
Well, okay,
And
what do you mean
when
by degeneracy? No, seriously. No. Okay,
you're
no.
saying if you-
Oh, no.
hold
Wait,
on.
Jacob,
Because-
I am
according to your
talking.
example-
I am
according to your
talking.
example-
I am
according to your
talking.
example-
I am
according to your
talking. I am
example-
talking. I am
according
talking.
to your
I am
example
talking.
of an
I am
adult
talking.
who wants
I
to
am
watch
talking.
Peppa
I am
Pig.
speaking. I'm going to put the burden of proof on you guys.
Go ahead.
Okay. No, and then you may put the burden of proof on me.
We're responding to people's desires to resort to their base
No.
childhood. The burden of proof is on them to express why they're doing that, and we're responding to
Okay.
it. And every response is, it's not mature.
But you have
should
yet
be
to
doing
give
something
me
more
a
productive.
you've yet to give me
That's
a
the response.
detailed
In
response.
every situation.
No,
because we don't. Because
all you
keep
have ever
saying
said-
is because we want to.
What do you mean?
All you have told me is that it's degenerate. It's not mature. Look,
Oh my God!
it's fun. No, seriously.
you
When
serious?
you go to okay, give me a detailed response of why. No, seriously. I will give you the floor. Just
Okay.
why is going to Disney World just degenerate? Why is it just a bad thing?
I have to know why they're wanting to go to Disney World, and then I can respond to that specific reason.
Because they think it's fun. They enjoy going on roller
What
coasters.
part of it is fun versus Six Flags or another theme park?
Okay.
Well, what's the difference between Disney World and Six Flags?
Because if you're there for the roller coasters, you can go to Six Flags and
But
ride
people
a
don't
bunch
go to
of
Disney World for the roller coasters. right? If people want to go for the Star Wars thing, if people want to shake hands with mascots,
Okay,
it's whatever.
Let's be clear. Let's compare both of these. Disney World. We all know what Disney World is associated with. It's associated with Mickey Mouse. It's associated with very childish things. It's not associated with Star Wars. Star Wars is not the main thing that Disney is associated with. It's associated with so many other things, but it's also associated with childhood, with childish things. I'm not saying that every single one of those childish things is a bad thing. Again, I defended Lion King. I defended all these things, but Disney World is
a step
Disney
too far.
World
It's a step too
It
far.
is. Well, hold on. Disney World is specifically made for families. It is made for families. If a mother and father are bringing their kids to Disney World, that's not a bad thing.
So,
Hold on. That whole thing is specifically made for kids. What is Six Flags made? Six Flags is roller coasters. What is the main like? You could say it's childish for the fact that it has the Looney Tunes. You could say it's child, but that's not the main attraction. The main attraction is roller coasters. The main attraction is roller coasters like the Texas Giant, the Titan, all of those things. The main attraction is those big giant rides. The rides are not the main attraction in Disney World. The main attraction in Disney World is childish things. Right. The main attraction in Disney World is Mickey, is Goofy, is all of these very childish things. And again, if you want to make a comparison between watching Lion King, which I will defend as watching an adult, between watching Peppa Pig,
Okay.
I will say freaking Six Flags is the Lion King, and Disney World is Peppa Pig. I don't think it is appropriate for a lone adult to roam around Disneyland, which is specifically made for adults. Or, sorry, specifically made for families. But for families, I apologize, for families. I don't think that is necessarily appropriate for an adult to pursue. Even if you are just trying to do that for your recreational benefits, there's a 6,000 billion other things in the United States of America that you could pursue as an adult rather than Disney World. Yep. I guarantee it.
all right,
I guarantee it.
Two things real fast. So, if it's for families, would it be wrong for the father and the mother to engage with any of the activities?
I think if you are pursuing Disney World as a group of adults, what?
Continue.
Okay.
I can answer that directly. By
Go ahead.
the way. Yeah, no. So if you're doing it for your wife who loves to experience Disney, it's you as a person doing it for somebody else is different than you doing it for yourself. Now that your wife really being about it and like hinging her happiness on the ability to go to Disney World, and especially the ability of her husband to provide for that ability to go to Disney World, that's weird. Priorities are a little out of whack there.
Yeah.
So as long as
But
you're
if
doing
it
it
also-
for someone else,
but if it also,
that's okay.
But if it strengthens your relationship as well, there's a difference. There's a difference between doing it for a relationship, doing it for your kids, doing it for, and what I said earlier to start this off, doing it for an experience that you missed out on. That's like there are certain examples that you can give where it's like, okay, I understand. But when you're doing it recreationally, that's weird. It's weird to do it alone. It's just, there are way more things that you can be doing, especially if you're flying out there. Now then, if Disney World was closer and less expensive to go to than Six Flags,
Oh, goodness.
totally get it. Totally get it. I understand. But
What if-
there is a difference between what you're going there for.
What if you live in Florida? What if you live next to Disney World and you want
I
to go?
just said that.
No, you said there was a difference between going to Six
There's a
Flags and
difference
flying out to.
Because there's
That's what
no
he said.
reason to go to Six Flags when it's more expensive, when you can get rides and like, what are you going there for?
I
If
think he
you're
was
going
giving
there for
the
the rides,
example between Michael when he was saying that he would like to go to Disney World by himself. It's
if
very
you're flying
very
four
different.
states away than deciding to go to Six Flags. I question a lot of things about you, especially if your shit isn't perfect.
Here's my question, actually. So, why is it that you want to take nostalgia out of the equation for one of the like good reasons to go?
Because you're trying to live nostalgia over and over and over again.
Okay, sure.
Okay, you know what? We're not going to jump too far down the rabbit hole because I don't want to derail the conversation completely, but I think that there are some hard lines that y'all would draw. If you're saying that the only justification that's needed is because I want to, or because of pleasure or whatever,
Oh no.
you can get into all sorts of topics like OnlyFans and things where... no, but seriously. seriously, you can get into all kinds of topics where it's done for pure pleasure. It only affects yourself. Like, who cares? It's only affecting you. If you're a productive member of society and you just film yourself naked on film and put it up on the internet.
So if I decide, okay, hold on. Going to Disney World for one day of the year is not going to affect my reputation. It's like starting only.
Young men and using OnlyFans to fucking get their rocks off is fucking stupid.
One exploits other people.
It's a lot cheaper than going to Disney World.
Okay, here's the thing.
No, it's
It
come on.
literally is.
No,
much.
because
Literally
no,
is.
if OnlyFans is like well, I don't even know how much OnlyFans is.
It's a lot cheaper than Disney World.
No, hold on. Like,
Yes.
what's the actual?
Yes,
no,
yes.
I'm not denying it. I'm asking. Hold on. Let me fucking speak,
man,
Mikey.
Look at these spikes.
I am trying to ask what is an OnlyFans like subscription amount?
You're gonna
Hold
have
on.
fun editing this.
OnlyFans.
'Cause I thought it was like based
This is a
off
weird
of
thing to put on my Google search
No, it's just-
history.
It's oh my god.
Hold on. Do I?
Oh,
Oh
that
god,
was so-
Liam's about to get an alert.
Same question.
Oh
Shut
my
the shut vegan mouth. What am I?
Look, again, this goes to show, even though we fundamentally disagree on this shit, we can still laugh together.
Hold up. So what am I Googling here? Am OnlyFans general cost for the...
Average
well, no, because this
OnlyFans.
is based off the
Doesn't
individual.
matter. Like,
I mean,
this
it
is
doesn't
so
matter. It really
irrelevant
doesn't.
to the
It really is
average
irrelevant.
OnlyFans
It is.
I think it totally
It
is.
fucking is.
I think it's directly relevant, and y'all just really
How is
want to
it
deny
relevant?
it. How is it relevant?
How's
I've
it
been trying to explain how
Because
it's
I don't think we've ever talked about the financial
$50
aspect.
a month.
Yeah. $50 a month. Okay, so that's
Wait, that's a waste of money.
$300 a year. How much is the
pays
average
for
cost
that,
of
by
it?
the way?
Wait, hold on.
I'm not
hey,
signaling out degeneracy
hey,
and watching
Can you
Pornhub.
figure
I'm
out
just
the average
saying
cost of a trip to Disney World a year?
I don't see how this matters.
Less.
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 Less than
Oh my
Less.
It's a
God.
lot more than
Less.
$300 a year.
Why does that matter, though?
Less.
$600.
To be completely
again,
honest with you, it's
like-
not the biggest contributing factor. It's just a factor.
No, but like seriously, you're comparing basically OnlyFans really is just like it's basically porn addiction, right? Porn addiction, we can all agree that's a serious, awful like thing. Like
What do you mean? What do you mean? It basically is. It is a porn addiction.
Yes, we agree.
yeah.
I don't.
no, but
We
but how
we all
but
agree
how
on
do
this
you-
stuff, but for some reason
but-
disagree on it.
No,
The-
how do you equate just going to Disney World
Because your
to something being
justification
no
can't just
being
be because
as
I want
destructive as a porn addiction?
It's not about.
If my justification for wanting to go to a restaurant was just because I wanted to, would that be an incorrect justification?
If your restaurant of choice is Chuck E. Cheese's, yes,
What if
it
it's,
would be
what,
an issue.
Hold on.
Liam.
Hold on.
Yes.
What
Hold on.
if-
And
but
also,
you brought up the point. If the justification is just what we want to do, like, what if I just want to go to Olive Garden?
Because there's a reason they have really great breadsticks,
Okay.
or they have bottomless
Disney
fries
World
at
has
Red
roller
Robin.
coasters.
They what?
Disney World has roller coasters.
Disney World has
Okay,
experiences.
So
built
why are
in.
you
It's like
flying?
holding a
Hey,
lightsaber?
so why are you flying
no,
four
no,
states
that's
away
not
for
fair.
roller coasters?
Six Flags has roller coasters, but we
Exactly.
literally just had the argument that Six Flags is better to go to as an adult than Disney World. So that's not
Just
the same
talked about
thing.
this. You have
No,
to.
but okay.
Now all of a
No,
sudden
no.
you're going deeper than want. You're
Why do you-
explaining why you
One
want
person
to.
wants to
I'll
go
give
to
us
Six
this
Flags
crap.
for roller coasters. One person wants to go to Disney
Why do you
World
wanna go to
for-
Disney
Whether it's
World?
nostalgia, whether it's for literally just for the
Because I
Star
haven't
Wars
been.
attraction thing, it doesn't matter.
It does matter.
No,
It does
because
matter.
because
Does
no,
matter.
because 90.
Okay, but
no.
it only matters when it's OnlyFans. Is that what you're saying?
No, because they're two different things. Mike.
No, why are they two
How are,
different
no,
things?
and how are they the same?
Because all you're justifying is whether they want to do it or not.
No, I'm okay.
You're
Hold on.
justifying their
You can
feelings, and
just-
that's
no,
it.
you're
That's
You're
it.
literally
That's all
comparing
you're
every
justifying.
single thing you ever do by using that example. You need to get more into detail
Because-
about how those are
Yes,
actually
we
the same.
agree. So let's. What I just said is
100%
I'm
agree.
responding
I'm
to
saying
whatever
when
the
it comes to
reason.
mundane things that you would agree with as well.
So somebody
Lord.
somebody can explain why they're going to Disney World, and I'm going to respond to their reasons for going to Disney
Okay,
World.
I go to Disney World because I want to experience building your own lightsaber, the whole Star Wars attraction thing. That's my reason.
So
for
you
going.
do it every year? I don't understand.
No,
this.
but it's not. It's not even about every year thing. It's about
Hold
someone
on,
who wants
hold
to go. For,
I don't think that's a bad thing. Hold on.
Right. Exactly.
on.
This is why
Hold
we're
on.
saying we can break
Again.
it down reason by
Again,
reason.
we're getting.
This
but
is
the
the
thing
whole
is,
thing.
you were not getting into specifics. I don't think that specific is a bad thing in any way, shape, or
If
form.
it's the only place you can go to do that, then yeah, why not?
No, I don't think. Again, I don't think that is a bad thing. Again, if we are getting into specifics, if you're going to Disney World to specifically get into the Star Wars attractions, aka building a lightsaber, aka that stuff, I don't think that is necessary. Hold on, I don't think that is necessarily a bad thing. However, I don't think it is a good thing if you're getting into the other stuff. If you're getting into like the Mickey Mouse rides, the Minnie Mouse ride, the McDonald, like all of that other nonsense stuff, I don't think that specifically is a good thing to get into as an adult.
How about I go because I like Disney?
But you
Well,
have
that's
to
not
break
that's
it
not
down
specific.
more than-
That's a
not
broad example. Disney
I like
owns so
Disney.
much.
I like
like
Walt Disney
Disney
and the
owns
legacy he
Marvel.
left
That's
behind.
not specific at all. That's not specific at all.
Here's the thing.
What do you
I like-
mean?
I like Walt Disney as a person. I like the legacy he left behind.
That's
I would love
still
to
not
visit
but we can
specific.
respond to
Disney
that.
park.
There's
Still
a
not
YouTube,
specific.
No, there's a whole YouTube channel that's built around describing the history of Disney World and breaking down onto a sociological level of why certain attractions became popular, why certain attractions died, why they began building sidewalks according to the paths that people walked through the grass. You can expand to reasons like Walt Disney was all about the psychology of people and trying to, the whole idea of Disney World was to build its own closed society that could function within itself.
He even made it even more
were-
kid friendly because, like, in every picture of Walt Disney, I figured out as of recent, any picture that he had at Disney World, he had a cigar or a cigarette with him. He had that photoshopped out of the picture to make it even more kid friendly.
And this is if you're an enthusiast of Walt Disney and you're following the history of it, that is different than going around and just walking around with a fucking Mickey Mouse hat on your head with a lollipop in your hand
100%.
and experiencing Disney World for the however many times a year that you're going.
Yeah, you can't say that you're just into Disney for the fact that it's a good company and Disney was a figure.
That's definitely
in
not a good company.
It's definitely not a good
Yeah.
company.
Well, like to be specific, like
Awful company
Walt
now.
was a bit of an anti-Semite when it comes to that, but like to
Who
say
was
that.
I'm about to say I don't give a shit about that.
was it?
Oh wait, hold
We
up.
were all anti-Semites back then.
Hold up.
Some of us still are. All right.
I'm just saying.
Hashtag free Palestine.
We had a slur here, slur there. Everyone was saying slurs.
Wait a
No one had
minute.
a problem with this. Oh yeah.
I was on your side. What the hell?
Oh my god.
I disagree with all of you. All right, no.
So-
We were getting too close, Jacob. No, I'm kidding.
Here's the thing. I do want to go back on the example, like
Okay,
when it
maybe-
comes to justification.
hold on. I'm so sorry. I will get back to you. Maybe we should change the example. So we had a topic in mind. Maybe we should change the example because obviously we don't agree on this specific. Maybe we should like change the example a little bit.
No,
We're gonna
no,
box
no. We
them.
need to keep. We need to
We're
stay
gonna
on
box
this.
them.
You
Jacob.
Yeah. Going
We
to
need to stay
Disney
on
World
this.
for fun is wrong.
Yes.
You heard it here first.
Oh my god. Look,
Oh my
It's
god.
gonna be a 2-second long podcast. It's gonna be like,
Everybody else is going to be censored except for you and me.
no, like I feel as if I've yet to be given a satisfied answer of if someone, like, okay, yes, there.
What?
No, seriously. Okay, because we can all agree that people take things to the extreme. Yes, someone who goes to Disney World and makes it their entire prerogative is obviously just outside of the realm of reality.
Why?
What do you mean? Why?
Why? Where's the line? Why are you drawing a line between that and what you're
The line is that they don't do adult behavior. Like they don't pay for their own bills. They don't fucking work their asses off to be able to contribute to not only themselves or anyone in their life.
You're describing a completely unrealistic example where they wouldn't be able to afford to go to Disney World anyways.
Okay.
So in that regard, the people that are paying to go to Disney
Yeah.
World are doing those exact things.
Yes, because they're working. No, they've been working adults for 99% of their lives. Okay, so what is the problem of taking a 3-day vacation to Disney World if they've always, if they paid for it? Okay, they understand that to indulge in in a little bit of a childish kind of.
Good
activity.
Lord.
No, seriously.
Look, no.
Describing Jesus who loves Disney.
Hold on.
That's what we're
Hold on.
describing.
Wait. I actually want to jump back down to this, just to bring it to its basic point, so we can move on to our next topic.
You have another topic?
Well, here's the thing. Well, we can move on to our next
shit.
to what Jacob wanted to move on to with this example. Here's the thing. You brought up the example of you can justify anything by just applying to your basic desires of I want to have fun. The next question in mind is, does it ultimately have any negative impact on you if you decide to engage in this fun? And I know what you're going to follow up with, because I saw that little light in your eye. All right, I saw that.
It's exactly what we've said earlier.
Well, here's the thing.
It's the repeat.
Here's the thing. One can justify viewing pornography as wrong under the justification of fun because, again, on one account, you are opening yourself up to something that is, by its very nature, very addictive. But take that out, for example. Take that out. The thing is that you are also exploiting somebody else for your own pleasure, specifically for your own sexual pleasure. All right? And that, to me, is a very distinct difference between wanting to just go out and ride a roller coaster.
I am not satisfied with any answer you've given. If someone is working as an adult for 99% of their lives, okay, and for their vacation seriously.
You responded to the exact reason.
But it just doesn't make sense to me inherently.
Everything, and you haven't. You being not satisfied by a response is not a good response.
Well, here's the thing. That's why I followed it up.
We've been responding to those specific examples.
You go for a day. And ultimately, you get to relive as a kid for one day.
But what are you reliving?
What? It's just the joy of being
childhood. Look, because let's be real.
The joy of interacting with characters, like human beings that are dressed up as cartoons. Is that what you're is that what you're enjoying?
Hold on.
No, it's not an oh my god. This is what Disney World is.
Okay, if you went,
are you serious?
Would you be aware that they are people in costumes?
Yes, they are people in costumes.
Yeah.
So if you're reliving your childhood by going up to a grown ass adult who's in a costume and interacting like you're a fucking kid interacting with your favorite Disney princess, that's weird. It's a horrible waste of somebody's time, and it's not something that I would.
I'm saying the adult in question is interacting with the mascot as a child.
Like, here's the
you
thing.
did. You just said it. You just said that you're reliving your childhood. That is you interacting with the character as a child. Oh my God! No, you can't just say "Oh my God" as a response. That's what you said.
You can't just say we haven't responded by this.
The sense of having
literally
fun.
That's the response.
It's not talking about being delusional and actually believing that the people in the costumes
you putting
are
yourself
real
in the
characters.
character of a 9-year-old. Putting yourself in the character of your 9-year-old self is weird and unproductive and lacks maturity.
It literally does lack maturity. You are genuinely when you're genuinely reliving those. It's a very big difference between being nostalgic.
Are you going to put a pacifier in your mouth and pretend that you're a baby? Why not? Why not? Why not, Liam? Why not? Is that weird to put a pacifier in your mouth and relive your 2-year-old self?
Well, first of all, there's a huge difference between wanting to experience the fun of being a kid again
versus the comfort of being an infant. I think that's pretty comforting. I think that's pretty comforting.
Here's my definition for why it's different.
No, you're lying. You're arbitrary lying. For the record. For the record, let's just be clear about the age that it's acceptable to relive.
Fucking believable.
Oh my God!
Right, because there's a difference between what's acceptable age to relive.
Because at that point you would be losing your adult sensibility.
Like a childhood?
No. Here's the thing.
Like your childhood would be?
Reliving your childhood doesn't mean that you automatically lose your adult sensibility. There is an extent.
But reliving your infanthood.
Yes, if you put a pacifier in your mouth, that's weird.
Why?
That's weird.
That doesn't make sense.
We have been on this topic for far too long. I understand that we... Hold on. I understand that you haven't been satisfied with the explanation. We've given an explanation. I think it's fair to move on from this point. I understand, because at this point, we're going to be arguing for the rest of the night.
There's no winning.
There is no winning. We're not going to be able to come to a conclusion for any of us for the rest of the night. Let's move on to the next example because we won't be able to do this for the rest of the night.
Right,
or we won't be able to do this for the next several hours, or we'll just be yelling.
Can I ask Charles one more question before I move?
Oh my gosh.
We won't go too deep. I just want a quick answer.
Your quick answer will be 12 minutes long.
Hold on. Let's just jump.
Let
to
him
it.
cook. I don't know why.
If an adult wants to go and have fun, ride roller coasters, and he's like, "Oh, can I get a photo with you?" and thinks it's just fun.
This is just a
That
repeat.
different than putting a pacifier in your mouth. He's not interacting with Donald and Goofy as if they're literally fucking Donald and Goofy. All right, he knows they're people in costume.
All that you're describing is what an acceptable trade-off of your social reputation is to
How
that
is it
person.
affecting their social reputation?
Because
give me an example.
Because somebody who's in the community of what do you call dressing up as a baby?
Hold on, so
Because if it increases,
Just-
but all
That's
you're
their
talking
job.
Keep on topic. Keep on
all you're
topic.
talking
Keep
about
on topic.
is
Keep on topic.
So you have two situations where you put a pacifier in your mouth and you advertise that to the people in your very fringe community versus you taking a picture with your childhood character and advertise that to a less fringe community. That's your distinction, is that one is more fringe than the other, and so therefore one's justified?
okay, first of all, that is partially my distinction.
Because I'm not going to
But-
congratulate my friend on taking a picture with Batman.
No one expects it though.
Right.
What?
No, except that
Are you gonna care?
it's a little weird. that you're-
So if he decides to just have a fun photo
But-
with someone,
no,
in
but
someone, in someone
why
in a
is it-
costume,
Hold on, but you would care if somebody posted a picture of them having a pacifier in their mouth, but not of taking a picture with Batman.
yes, because
Because
here's
you agree with one more than the other. You are. It's arbitrary.
yes,
Liam.
sure, I do
It's
agree with one
arbitrary.
more than the other.
Well, hold on.
because they're different
Wait,
things.
Wait, actually, let me ask you. Well, hold on, because
They're not different things.
You give
You're
me
trying to
arbitrary
identify with
responses
the
too, because if
community.
you're okay with watching, well, not you actually.
The
You,
idea
no,
is that you're
hold on.
identifying with the community.
Actually, hold on.
one
I will
way or
say
the
this:
other.
Mikey has actually been very consistent with his arguments.
I'll give
Jacob, though, who I'm sure is agreeing with Mikey's point right now, like if the pacifier in the mouth thing is like big no go, it's like again, then why are you okay with watching a childhood show then?
Because again, I think I have been very specific of this because they're very different than watching The Lion King and Peppa
For
Pig.
kids.
Yeah.
Let me.
Well, again,
I'll
both
give an
are like
example,
technically
too.
both are for kids,
Okay.
but you definitely know that there's a very big difference
Do you
between the
disagree
two of
with
them.
Jacob?
I love Pokemon. I also would feel extreme shame advertising that to the
Yeah.
world, like I
Well,
am
okay,
on YouTube.
to be-
shameful to advertise that to you right now.
There's
And
nothing
if you-
shameful about
And if
liking
I was walking
Pokemon.
around playing Pokemon Go, and somebody said,
Like many
"Yeah, that's
adults
super
do."
fucking weird," I'd say, "Yeah, you're right. It is super fucking weird."
Wait,
that I'm
wait,
playing
should I be
Pokemon
shameful
Go.
playing video games in general every once in a while?
If you're
if the video games don't have blood and gore in them,
Yeah.
yes.
No, that's not at all what it is. If you're going around playing your
Pokemon
fucking
Go is a video
Nintendo
game.
DS in public, or you like, yeah, it's weird.
If I
to
play a
be-
phone game in public,
yeah, it's also weird.
it's also
Okay,
weird.
People judge that hardcore
okay, well, 'cause-
whenever you're on your phone in public.
Well, I don't give a fuck about what
There's
people
actually a
judge me on.
huge thing about it.
No, because here's
I
the
don't know
thing.
if you've seen that.
Because I'm a working adult as well as two other people at my dealership. When we don't have anything going on, do you want to know what the fuck we do? Because we don't have anything going on, we just wait for a customer to walk in. We play Minecraft on our fucking phones. Does that make us less of an adult?
Yeah.
No.
So actually,
So he said
there's-
yes,
There,
okay.
There's actually a super.
cool.
No, I can actually explain this perfectly. We had a new policy at work get implemented because of people being on their phones because we're trying to increase our budgets to hire more people, and so the idea of us being on our phones decreases the perception of a need to have a budget for extra people because we're not working as it is.
I will say the difference though is that you guys are based off of hourly pay or salary. We're based off of commission. I will just say that's the reason why we can.
So when it's
so
slow, yeah, it doesn't really
I-
matter.
I know.
will
It
say-
doesn't matter, but I just wanted to let people
It
know.
does
why
matter
we're-
because
Hang
you
on.
wouldn't
Sure.
hire extra salesmen if y'all were
This,
getting.
this goes back to the whole separation of outside of your work life. Okay? If you want to do one thing childish that doesn't necessarily ruin your reputation as adult, doesn't put you into the delusion of being a child. Reliving your childhood is not falling into the delusion of believing you are a child. Those are two completely different things. Can we all acknowledge that?
I can agree with that. Yes.
Can you agree with that? Obviously, you agree with that. Can you agree with that?
That it doesn't make you delusional.
No.
Sorry. I didn't-
Wanting to relive certain aspects of your childhood does not mean that you are under the delusional belief that you are a child. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, if someone wants to go to Disney World and relive an aspect of their childhood, and they know, hold on, but I know you're getting annoyed.
We've been on this
Hold
topic
I
for
know,
so
but
long.
Just just because I think I'm getting somewhere with you, okay?
You're not.
Here's the thing, but you just agreed to my premise. So hold on.
You
stop.
agree that murder is bad, Liam?
You just
believe
agreed
that we shouldn't be able to murder.
You
because
just
we want
agreed
to.
to
Liam,
my.
we've been on a whole topic of
Hold on.
specifics.
Before we stop, you agree with the premise, right? That reliving your childhood doesn't mean that you're necessarily under the delusional belief that you are a child.
Right.
Okay.
Just like
So if
being
you
a
relive
brony
your
doesn't-
childhood,
Yeah.
you understand that the people in costumes are just people in costumes. You're like, hey, I'll take a photo. It's just fun. It's pure innocent fun. Literally doesn't affect you, doesn't affect anyone, doesn't ruin your reputation in any single way possible, doesn't affect your maturity at all.
I disagree because if you watch a 9-year-old run up and hug that adult human being dressed up as a cartoon character, and then you run up and hug that adult human being dressed up as a cartoon character,
I'm not even. Hold on. I didn't say hug. I just said,
weird.
hey,
It
I want a
doesn't
photo.
matter.
I want a
weird.
photo.
It doesn't matter. You just
Liam-
watch a 9-year-old run up and interact.
Liam,
with
being childish is not the same thing as being nostalgic. Watching The Lion King, watching Finding Nemo, watching any Pixar movie, that's not the same thing as watching Peppa Pig. You can clearly understand the difference, correct? Surely,
I've never seen
right.
Peppa Pig. I don't even know what that is.
Peppa Pig is essentially freaking VeggieTales, but worse.
Would it be weird if you watched Peppa Pig?
I don't know what Peppa Pig is.
We're not gonna give. We're not gonna give y'all. We're not gonna give y'all such a hard question as that. I'm just saying. I feel like I'm being very fair and riding the fine line, but surely you can understand where I'm coming from. Where I'm saying, as an adult, surely you can understand that pursuing more adult-like things is 100% better for that human being, not affecting anybody else. I understand. It's not going to affect me. It's not going to affect you. It's not going to affect.
For the record, but I'll
Sure, yeah. Well, maybe that is the case, but I truly don't think that it's going to affect me. That being said, for the maturity of that human being, I don't think that it is I don't think that it is a good thing for them to pursue such childish things. Now, on that, we have been on this topic for how long has it been?
My watch.
An hour and a half.
That's it.
Dang.
Dude, I could do this all day. I could do this all day.
Shut up, Liam.
Dude, I was
Done with this
strapped in
topic.
for like 3 hours, dude.
Honestly, same.
No. I'm done with this topic. We're done. We're moving on. I'm tired of this
We haven't
topic.
even reached a proper conclusion.
No, we have. You keep saying we
Write your
haven't given you.
comments down below.
We haven't. You keep saying we haven't given you a proper suggestion or reason. We have. You just haven't liked it.
Don't play that game. Seriously, that's completely disingenuous.
Man, isn't that weird?
Well, funny
no.
you say that, considering you say the entire time you say we haven't been answering a question when we totally
because
have been
I
answering
try to
questions.
ask why. Okay, why is it weird, right? And you just say it's weird because kids like it. And
Oh, we haven't.
I
No, we
then,
haven't.
I don't think even.
I need
listening
you to explain
any of
it.
them-
No,
To
no.
be fair, they did explain that they think it's
Yes.
weird because
Well, okay,
because
sure,
they consider it to be something that was made
We
for
consider it to be childish, and we
Okay.
consider it to be something
Why is that a bad
specifically
thing?
made for
I'm
children.
trying to understand that because here's the thing. I have said this countless times that I am, quite frankly, really fucking dumb, and I need. For me to understand something, I need you to explain to me as if I was a fucking child.
Go to Disney
Raise
World.
your child.
Okay,
But you said it was a bad thing.
Well, if
Why
you're,
should I go to Disney World?
If you're under the delusion that you are a 4-year-old, then okay, go to Disney World.
Mike,
At what point do certain types of fun? Again, where is the line for y'all when the certain type of fun becomes too childish?
I don't necessarily think it's a line. I think it's specific.
It's specific.
Because again, like I said, I don't think it's a bad thing to rewatch The Lion King because I've done it. I'm not
movie
giving the
intended
example
for
as me.
children.
I'm not the crowning achievement. I'm not the most moral human being. I'm not the person you should mold your life after. Don't do that. You'd be dumb if that was the case. But
Thank you.
I am saying,
Our
like, yeah.
conclusion has been reached.
But I am
Liam, don't do
saying,
that.
I'm saying it's not a line. It's specific. It has to be specific because I think very specific things negate if you should do it or not.
Well, and to be fair, I think having a line is not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, me and Michael
Sure,
both
but-
distinguish a line.
But you've been getting you've been getting into all night about the specifics. So let's be specific.
the line in particular that both me and Michael have talked is if it doesn't ultimately have any. Again, I know you want to roll your eyes at that. If it doesn't,
Because we've already talked about other examples where things don't affect other people, and now all of a sudden there's a
And then
line. Porn is a big example of it. Yes.
And I gave
Sex
you-
addiction is a big example of it. There's a lot of examples of things that people do because they just want to do it, and it doesn't affect other people.
that's
Drug
every
use.
single little thing you ever do to the most minute detail.
Yes, exactly. And whenever those things can reasonably be extracted to,
Which we've provided a good enough
the
explanation.
rest of society, yes, I think that's.
So everything you
bad
do
thing.
has to have a benefit to the rest of society.
I think that if you can, there are levels to any of it, but you can describe certain things that would impact society in more specific and extreme ways. If
Okay.
you start justifying a society that dresses up as their favorite Disney princess because it's acceptable to relive your childhood throughout your daily life, I think there's an issue with
Well,
that.
did we
Just
say
like furries, we have examples of this in real. No. We have examples of this in real life. Please stop pretending we don't.
No, but just because going to Disney World not everyone who goes to Disney World dresses up as a Disney princess though.
Right. Okay. So do you think that it's more extreme to dress up as a furry than it is a Disney princess?
Well,
Yes.
I mean,
Obviously.
No. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
obviously more extreme to dress up as a furry.
obvious,
Right.
sure,
And people
okay.
do it.
Yeah,
Right.
Unironically, too. That's weird.
People do it.
sure.
So is it really that far-fetched to say that normalizing reliving your childhood it just as a recreational thing would feasibly expand to somebody doing that in their daily life?
Also, if you want to get into a very extreme example, some people who live their childish lives become more childish, and those people tend to become what is we call pedophiles. And we shoot those people. I'm just saying that if we're getting to extreme examples, that's one of them.
the nuance-
And by the way, on the
There's a
Couch Gaming
difference-
podcast,
I mean, illegal
please,
we
please
shoot those
Stay with
people.
legal.
allow Liam to speak, and then I will.
The nuance in particular is that if we had a society that strictly encouraged that you only ever be childish and never take on your adult responsibilities ever, sure, or just completely rejecting your adult responsibilities in favor of doing childish things all the time, sure. My argument is that there's no problem with engaging in childish things every once in a while if you don't let it consume you. That's like with everything. You can drink alcohol every once in a while as long as you don't become a drunk, right?
I can agree. Liam, I can agree with you.
Still a negative. For the record.
Okay, well, to be honest with you, Charles, I can actually agree with Liam on this. I don't. Okay, again, if we got to be specific on this, but I don't think it's a bad thing. Again, I guess we're going back to
Moderation.
Disney movie. Like, yeah,
I
again,
respect somebody
moderation,
who
moderation.
has perfect self-control.
Is moderation a bad thing?
Not as
Genuine
much as
genuine moderation.
Not as much as perfect. Or no, I'm sorry. It's not as good of a thing as perfect self-control. And I think that even things in moderation can still be described as net negatives. I have no issue with that. And so this is the exact same logic that I apply to something far more extreme, which I believe that that reliving your childhood as a recreation is far more negative than doing something like drinking.
I do want to let people who are watching this understand this. Even though we've been yelling at each other, I still love.
I hate you all.
I'm gonna kiss this man on the mouth
Well,
afterwards.
see, this is the difference between us. You know, like I will accept different opinions, and I'm still what? What? No, but like seriously, even though we were yelling at each other, we still very very much love each other. Love you too, babe. Love you. I love you too, Austin.
See,
By the way, Austin is my roommate / landlord.
Now that there was a live audience that becomes shameful of their childhood,
Ooh.
now
that
they
you were
wanna
not
end the
indulging in childish
conversation.
things. Never getting
Shameful.
BJs.
See, this is
Yeah.
As soon as BJs are brought into the picture,
Like again, I get their point. You know, I'm trying to understand it, right? And again, like I do understand that in extreme circumstances, like absolutely, like it can be destructive, but like with anything.
Well, yeah, it's ultimately, again, it comes down to moderation. There's nothing wrong with enjoying.
I don't think that it's moderate to decide
Visit Disney
to
World once a
fly
year.
out to Disney World. Yeah, whenever.
Seems pretty
it
moderate to
depends
me.
on what you're going there for.
365 days a year, you know.
It depends on what
Go
you're
once.
going for.
You go once. You go once.
That was just my big thing. It's just like I feel like if you're being mature and an adult for like 99.5%.
Okay, so to be fair, I don't think y'all are hearing us in any way, shape, or form.
I agree.
I feel like you're not hearing
I don't
us.
think you're acknowledging. I don't think you're acknowledging. No, we are acknowledging your
But
points.
here's-
We agree.
we
I
did.
agree up until the points that yes, it is fine to indulge some childish things, but you have to be very specific on that.
We agreed
Again,
on the lightsaber thing.
We agreed on the lightsaber thing. Yes. But as a lone person, I feel like we've been very specific on that. And I don't think it's not because we haven't responded to your examples. I don't think you have liked our examples.
No, it's not
Wanting to go because it's part of my trip to Florida. It's just something to do in Florida, and I'm going to Florida anyways.
But you're
No, I agree on that take.
Like-
Liam. No,
like-
no. Seriously, we're focusing on if your intent is to go to Disney World.
But
right?
the point I'm trying to make is that they're trying to come up with specific reasons why it would be okay. The
we're
lightsaber.
responding to specific reasons that somebody would make the decision to fly out to Disney World.
Hold on.
There are reasons that people fly out to Disney World. It's not just because they want to go to Disney World. They're going to Disney World for a specific reason. Why? And then we can respond to that.
Okay.
That's fair. That's perfectly
It's
fair.
very fair.
But, like, why is it?
So some reasons are okay and some reasons aren't. Doing the lightsaber thing. That's a completely justified
Because
reason to
it's
go to
an
Disneyland.
experience that you can't get anywhere else, and it's unique to Disney.
Okay.
Well, and I would say that there are, and even if you were to be able to get that experience at like some Star Wars convention or something like that, you still have like the real deal that's at Disney. Like, I get it. There are reasons that you can distinguish between certain things.
I want to go because I've never been.
Yeah, that's fine. It's something you missed out on as a kid.
Right.
Okay.
That's something I said that was probably one of the first
Yeah.
sentences
No.
I
No.
said.
To be fair, both Jacob and Mike.
I know. I'm just trying to establish
Okay,
exactly what's okay and what's not.
Okay.
I want to go because I'm going to Florida and it's something to do in Florida as well. I'm going to be there for like 2 weeks.
Right, and I'm sure that's fine too, because again, like that's just an
There's
after.
just stuff I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I would say if you're going alone for
And they're
the
one.
basis of checking out the recreational benefits, I would go somewhere else because I don't think that is the most mature thing to do. I would say unless you're going for the lightsaber stuff.
I've been to both Disney World and Six Flags, and I get a lot more joy out of Disney World. So I decide, you know what? I have the money to go to Disney World.
Why do
Can
you
I
get
go?
more joy out of
You
going
have
to
no
Disney
money.
World?
Because
Okay, well,
no, but
he
for,
has
well,
$300 now.
Well, because
Because I just
no,
did.
there's
Hey, you could get a yearly.
because Disney World's more. There's more grandeur in
subscription to
Disney
OnlyFans.
World.
there's more grandeur to Disney World than there is Six Flags.
Okay, but you're talking about abstract concepts. Of this.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, you have the grandeur of it, but if at any point you're going to Disney World and like hugging a costume because you like loved that character as a kid, it's weird. But if you're going there because of the grandeur of going for the fireworks at the castle, I get it. It's a fireworks show that at a place you've never been to that's world renowned for it, by the way.
What if I go there for the grandeur, and along the way I just see someone dressed as one of my favorite Disney characters?
It's weird.
And you're like, oh, I want to get a photo with them.
Yeah, it's still weird.
I still talk to them as I would talk to any person, knowing that they're people in costumes, knowing that they're not actually the Disney characters. I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm here. Let me get a photo with you. Is that weird?
It's a
Yeah,
souvenir
weird.
picture.
I would
Yeah, it's a
call it weird.
souvenir picture. So that would be the line. What I'm getting out of this is that the distinct line is basically just going up to the characters in Disney World.
Walk me through how this interaction goes. You see your favorite. Who's your favorite Disney character?
Oh, Mickey Mouse. Oh.
Goofy.
Yuck.
1960s Goofy in particular. The one that
Murder.
smoked.
Murder.
Okay, so you see Goofy. You
Chain smoking
He's
Goofy.
walking around. That's pretty Goofy that just shot up a school and
Yeah.
he's seeing demons. He's bugging out.
The demons told me to
Demons told me to. I'll fucking do it again.
fucking do it again.
So you see Goofy walking around, looking a bunch of 9-year-olds, and you're like, okay, here's my chance. All the 9-year-olds have scattered. Here's my chance. Goofy is alone, and I can get him in a picture with me. And so you go up to a random person to take your photo with Goofy, and then you jump on Facebook and say, "Hey, met Goofy at Disney World." What's the lead up to all this? I don't understand the like. Are you alone
Souvenir
whenever
photo.
You're doing this.
It's just something fun to do.
Well, also, okay, hold on. So, I mean, would
But
you,
if you're doing it for yourself, then what's this? I don't understand the souvenir. Are you keeping it in a
It's
box
the same.
until you're
To me, it's
60?
the same as going to like if you're at a convention and someone's dressed up. You're
Yes,
like,
I
hey.
agree. It is the same as going to a convention.
Okay, so that's not going to be a point that we can get across to him.
So, quick pause. Just a question. Is there any other examples other than Disneyland? Because we genuinely have been on this
Great
for
Wolf
a...
Lodge.
Jacob's right. Look, Liam and I, we have our views on it.
We have the
Jacob-
sensible view on the.
Liam, no, let's not be disingenuous. Okay, Liam and I, we have our views on it. Charles and Jacob have their own views on it, right? Even though we're probably never going to agree on this kind of topic. And if anything, we might talk about it after the podcast, right? Just because I do find this to be an interest. I want to see if we can, like, if we can iron this out. But we have been doing this for a while now. So, even though we disagree on it, we still love each other. You know, not in a gay way. Fuck off. Well, maybe I guess.
Super gay.
But I guess if we have a different thing we want to talk about, let's go ahead and transition on to that. Jacob.
Speaking of transition,
What do you mean, me?
Well, you said you had something you wanted to talk about, right?
No, I was just trying to change the topic. I didn't know what topic we were changing
You
to.
wanted to change it. Wait,
This
you
isn't
didn't-
my topic.
Oh my god! All right, Liam, was there a different example or something
So-
else?
TV shows.
Which
Which is it appropriate to watch those? Peppa Pig.
no, seriously, I genuinely I do not know this.
Sesame Street.
Just look at one picture of Peppa Pig,
don't
you
have
would
my phone
completely understand.
well, for example, Sesame Street.
Yeah.
Sesame Street.
Is it weird for an adult to watch Sesame Street?
Yes.
Like in their own private life?
Yes.
I mean, I wouldn't watch it, but if they watch it, like, I think it's. Do I think it's weird? I mean, okay, hold on. What in Sesame Street, like, other than like teaching you how to count to 10, what even is there?
One.
Two.
Social awareness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I mean, with Sesame Street, I mean, like, so this is a show that is basically what it just teaches children like basic shit, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, well, as an adult, like, what do you have to learn from it? You
What
know?
if I told you that I was watching the new Teen Titans?
Like Teen Titans Go?
The new Teen Titans?
New Teen Titans.
I mean, more power to you.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Now, if you were talking about the old Teen Titans, in my opinion, very
That
different.
kid show is okay.
Well, okay.
That's a
Very
good show.
different.
That kid show.
That's
is
a
okay.
good show.
Okay, but the line is still like apathy versus like understanding, and that's not a like I don't even consider that really to be a distinction. It's okay to be like I don't really care versus like okay, that's cool. Like I identify with.
But it also, like, to be
I
fair,
disagree for the record.
yeah. Well, to be fair, there's also a very difference between the shows. The old Teen Titans was, if you did watch the show from beginning to end, there is a very different storytelling method that they incorporate versus the new Teen Titans. Teen Titans Go is very much incorporating the very childish ways that the Teen Titans go about things.
Mm-hmm.
Teen Titans originally had a very kid-friendly style, but also incorporated lots and lots of
incorporate
very
darker elements.
hardcore storytelling.
Like Slade, for example. Like,
Yo,
We
Slade.
only know that because we watched the original Teen Titans.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's a good distinction to make. I think that going back and watching either of them would be super weird.
Well, there's a difference between adult themes and execution. Like I said, like you could say, like I'll compare two shows for you: Star Wars: The Clone Wars and Star Wars Rebels. Both technically have adult themes, but one is definitely more childish in execution. I would say Star Wars Rebels is a kids show. I would say Star Wars: The Clone Wars is a show accessible for everybody, because Star Wars: The Clone Wars has pretty much every single adult theme as Star Wars Rebels, but it's executed very, very differently. And it's hard for me to specifically give you examples unless I'm specifically giving examples about each episode of the show. But
if you're
how the shows specifically end is Star Wars Rebels, despite ending on kind of a similar way as Star Wars The Clone Wars, kind of ends in like a happy, kid-friendly way. But how Star Wars The Clone... By the way, spoiler alert, I guess, for the shows. How Star Wars The Clone Wars ends is a very, very, very somber ending for a kids show. This is how the Clone Wars TV show ends, by the way. The Star Wars Clone Wars TV show ends with the mass death of hundreds and hundreds of clone troopers who were essentially not trying to kill the main characters, but essentially enacting the orders of an evil dictator, which was Emperor Palpatine. Yeah, they were trying to kill the main characters, but they weren't doing it by their own free will. They were enacting the orders of an evil dictator, Palpatine.
Which, by the way, I didn't like that change. By the way,
that doesn't justify.
Yeah, but
going through the entire series for the sake of learning the very adult theme of mass murder and genocide. Like, my point is, like, even South Park, you wouldn't say that that's a show for children.
No.
But it's juvenile humor, and you wouldn't justify somebody watching the entire series for South Park's take on certain political issues or adult-themed issues. You would say, hey, there was this one specific example that South Park gave that I think really applies to this issue on an adult level. You wouldn't say that South Park is an adult show.
Sure, but the same thing. While South Park has very juvenile humor.
I love South Park, by the way.
Sure, but at the same way, South Park has very juvenile humor. It's the same way that the Clone Wars has very adult themes. I do think there is a difference between execution, and Clone Wars has a very good line between adult themes and execution, where, again, I'm going to go back to Star Wars Rebels for a second, where the adult themes are kind of like down here, a bit of a low level, and the kid-friendly vibe is down here. The Clone Wars has a very thin line between the adult themes and the kid-friendly execution, and they both ride the exact same line where they complement each other. They intersect between each other where kids can definitely watch this, but adults can appreciate it.
So also, by the way, Star Wars as a series, is it for adults or is it for children?
I think it's for everybody. I think Star Wars is a very universal series, which again is why I would say that when you're going to Disney World and specifically going to the Star Wars theme park, I think that is a very universal segment. Whereas I think that when you're going to Disney World and going to the Mickey Mouse, Goofy, yada 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 segments, that's a very kid-friendly section. Again, if we're getting into specifics, that's the line that I would draw. I think that Mickey Mouse and all those other stuff, that's kid-friendly. Star Wars is more universal.
Well, hang on. So I think that you can draw a pretty clear line between childhood versus adulthood, between whether or not you're looking up to the characters in the show and whether or not you're identifying with the characters in the show. Especially if you're meant to identify with children characters in a show, then of course that makes it a childhood experience, a child experience.
Sure.
The issue that I see is I don't understand how you could identify. I mean, you really have to get into the specifics of individual even scenes. I think when you're talking about Star Wars: The Clone Wars, whether you're supposed to be able to identify with a character. Like, you're not supposed to identify with Ahsoka being an angsty teenager. Well, it's weird to appreciate Ahsoka as an angsty teenager as an adult.
I don't 100% agree with that because, again, if you look at the Breakfast Club, for example, those are all teenagers, but that's a very adult movie. It's rated R. It's an adult movie, by example. You can still identify with the teenager's struggles. Again, there's another movie that came out as a recent turning.
You were literally a teenager at some point.
Well, turning
better to understand.
Turning 17, another rated R movie starring Haley Steinfeld. I don't know if that's the exact. I don't know that's the exact title, but again, that's another rated R movie where you can identify with a teenager. I don't know what being a teenage girl feels like. I don't know what that experience is like, but I do understand as being a human, that embarrassment sucks, that humiliation sucks, that all of this stuff that this character is going through in this movie sucks. I don't have to be who this character is to understand this character is going through a human experience. So yes, I can identify with a younger age, specifically because I have been a teenager in my past life.
But when the situation is juvenile, you're not supposed to be like. I think that trying to identify with a character in one of these situations is a complete waste of time, and it's a childish endeavor to try to identify with a child character.
Okay, well, let's talk about the Clone Wars for a second. So the Clone Wars, they left. So they have to strategize. They can't beat us normally. So the Clone Wars specifically deals with younger people in a very horrific situation. Think about it for a second. The Clone Wars is a war where mass genocide, death, like depopulation, all of this stuff is happening. And meanwhile, these young people, like Ahsoka, is essentially like 13, 14 when she is introduced to the Clone Wars, where her friends, her comrades are essentially dying in arms. But she's also like she's also maturing as it goes along. She's maturing from what she was introduced to in the original Clone War and the original first few episodes and the movie as a kind of spoiled brat and a angsty teenager. And by the end of it, she has matured into an adult. She is now a full-fledged general in the Clone Wars, where she is now in charge of real people who depend on her to lead them through struggles, and with her knowing that most of them are definitely going to die in the process. That's an incredibly adult theme to put on a younger character. So I do think it is fair for older people to identify with this struggle specifically because it's such a mature thing to throw on a younger character as Ahsoka.
I disagree because the whole theme of it is that she's using superpowers to try to keep from killing her comrades, her former comrades. And so if you had a theme of where she's faced with either having to kill her comrades or die, it's different than just saying, "Oh, hey, I'm going to use my superpowers and I'm just going to make it slightly harder on myself, but still possible to get out of this situation without killing anybody. They're all super my friends, and hey, I'm going to try and find a way to save them. It's all going to be unicorns and rainbows. We're going to get out of this."
Sure, but let's
Whereas
to combat
I can identify more with a movie like Schindler's List than I could.
Yeah.
I think that it's a far more effective use of my time to try to identify with Schindler's List than it would be to identify with the Clone Wars.
I might agree with you on Schindler's List just because it is a very real-life example and a very powerful example. However, let's take the very ending of the Clone Wars, which I think is some of the best Star Wars in general. And I don't know if you haven't seen... go ahead.
No. Once you're done with your point, Liam had something to say.
Okay, yeah.
No, I have not watched the Clone Wars.
I thought you... Well, why were you... You were
I was waving at you.
The very end of the Clone Wars. So what is essentially happening in the Clone Wars is that if you haven't seen the Clone Wars, there's this thing called Execute Order 66. And what happens in Execute Order 66 is there's this emperor called Palpatine who essentially says this phrase to all of the clone troopers who are around the galaxy who are fending off the Republic. And once he says that, once he says that, they have to obey him. They have to obey him and execute their Jedi companions. And what Ahsoka has to go through in this episode is these people... These people have essentially loyaled themselves. In the previous episode, these clone troopers have essentially told her that we will die for you. We admire you as a general and we respect you as a commander. And they painted their helmets after her coloring because she's a little bit of an alien. And so they mimicked her coloring and on their helmets to show how much they respect her as a general. And even throughout all their loyalty, their compassion for her, their love for this general, they have to kill her now because Palpatine said so. And throughout all of this, Ahsoka is faced with the incredibly difficult example of kill these clone troopers because she can and survive, or spare these clone troopers and essentially save these people that she has come to know and love with the acknowledgement that that they want to kill her. And at the end of the day, it results in something that is incredibly adult. They all end up dying anyway. They all end up dying, and she has to come to the reality of that, of the plan that she hoped for, which was to spare all these people, never came to conclusion. They all ended up dying anyway, and she has to come to the conclusion of that. And she ends up burying every single one of these clone troopers because she respects them. She feels an incredible loyalty to them, but it's so freaking sad that she has to do this stuff.
My point with this is that, okay, yeah, great. She got out of the situation completely guilt-free, and she just has to deal with the reality.
She didn't at all.
What do you mean? She got out of it. She didn't have to.
She didn't. Her whole plan was to not kill any of these people, and they all ended up dying anyway.
Yeah, because that's like, yeah, sometimes things are out of your control, but she never had to kill anybody, period. She completed her mission completely successfully in that she used her superpowers to get out of the situation with her and her bestie alive without killing anybody, and then they died anyways. Oh my God, super sad. But there's no guilt. She couldn't have done anything to save them. Whereas you have others, more adult situations, like that's an easier situation for a kid to grasp than it would be an adult trying to grasp a harder situation. Like
I get where you're coming from, but I don't agree. I don't think that. Again, I think it's fair for a child to come to the grasp of, even if you have the best intentions, there's nothing that you can do. Even if you want the best, and even if you have a morally righteous application for something, there's nothing that you can do. And I don't think that that's not a good thing for a younger kid who comes.
It's a good adult lesson that you can't control every variable.
I disagree. Yeah. If a child can grasp the concept of it, then why are you learning it as an adult?
You're not learning it as an adult.
So why are you
watching
it? That's the point.
Because it's something you can identify with. It's the same thing as
when
you're
the concept already.
No, but not every time you watch something, you have to learn something new, though. When you watch
it's a waste of time.
No, absolutely not. Because when you watch something, you can appreciate the art form itself. You can appreciate something happening.
I can disagree and agree with two things. It's something you learn as a child, but it's something you identify with as an adult. You don't learn something from Ahsoka's journey. You identify with her struggles and you sympathize with her. And you learn it as a kid. You learn that, no, good doesn't always succeed even how hard you try. Sometimes you just fail because that's just how life works. Yeah. And you just have to fail.
And I sit there and think, wow, man, how convenient is it that she got to maintain the exact character that she wanted to maintain throughout her entire existence, never had to betray a single value that she had.
To be fair, you could
this situation, and now she's just dealing with life.
To be fair, you could say the same thing with Schindler's List. You could say this, you could say the same thing with Schindler, and the fact that, number one, he went through vast majority of that movie. Yes, he molded his character throughout the movie, but I'm not sure he necessarily changed that much throughout the entire movie.
Okay, maybe I can bring an example. So the original Teen Titans, right? So one of the things that Robin has to overcome is obsession, right? That's an adult thing, a very adult thing, overcoming obsession. So his obsession with Slade, right? So in one of the best episodes in the Teen Titans, I forget what it's called, but it's the one where basically he inhales some like dust or something, and he's seeing hallucinations of Slade, like. One of the things is, one of the things I feel with Robin, which is an adult thing that you can empathize with and actually learn as an adult, which again, of course you can learn that as a child, but overcoming obsession. Like, I think that's a fantastic episode, not only in the lens of watching as a child, but watching in the lens as an adult.
Okay, but the adult version of this is addiction, not obsession.
Okay, sure.
Again,
I don't understand why you're it doesn't. You're learning.
Charles, I completely understand where you're coming from, but again, I don't think
what
these
you're
things.
identifying with is the writers of the show. You're not identifying with the lesson of the show.
I don't think it's identifying. I think it's sympathy.
You could have written that show.
Sure, but I don't think I don't think adults are going to go about it the same way as kids. I think kids are going to be learning about it through this show, and I think adults are going to be sympathizing with it because. Again, I don't think when you're watching in a kid's show, you're going to be learning something that you don't already know. But again, you see these characters and you understand the struggle that they go through because that's just good writing. That's just good writing.
You're appreciating it for good writing. That's different than identifying with the actual characters. If you're treating Avatar: The Last Airbender as a case study of what makes a successful TV show, that's a different reason than trying to identify with the child characters that are going through pretty.
Your ability to identify with the characters is part of the good writing.
No, wait, no. What you're identifying with is the ability of the writer to place themselves in a situation that's completely outside their current experience.
Oh my god!
I don't understand the. No, you.
No,
I couldn't sit down and write The Last Airbender.
The job is the writer. Like, again, we all know the difference between bad kids movies. We're not going to show our kid a bad kids movie
we all
intentionally.
understand it.
No. I think we do. I think you know that The Lion King is a very good kids movie, and that some other kids movies that aren't at the same quality aren't as good as those kids movies. Why do we think that The Lion King is a better kids movie than some lower quality kids movies? Because the writing is better, because the morality is better, because we understand that The Lion King has very clear, specific characters that we can identify with even as adults. I don't think it's a bad thing that adults can identify with younger kids movies, because I don't think that we're seeing ourselves and identifying ourselves in those exact situations, in those childish situations, but I think that we can understand it from an adult's perspective, that this is, from a child's perspective, what an adult feels like.
Also, Lion King isn't Lion King like based heavily on like an
Hamlet?
adult's, yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
Yeah, Shakespeare, Hamlet.
But you're still talking about an adult's ability to translate Hamlet to a child's medium. That's a skill that not a lot of people have.
Right.
And so to just say that people inherently understand the difference between a good kids movie versus a bad kids movie, I completely disagree. I mean, you can. I have a great respect for adults who can sit down and play with a kid, especially for hours, and interact with that kid on the kid's level, because I can't do that. That's a skill that would be childish for me to embody in my own personal life. But to be able to build a bond with another small human being that I right now I cannot do in my current capacity, is crazy to me.
I understand what that kid's feeling. I like when a kid is asking me something that seems absurd if you're an adult, but if it's a kid, it makes sense. If a kid is asking me, is like, where is this thing, or like, what is this thing doing? Like, I know what that kid's feeling. I know what that kid internally feels. It doesn't make sense as an adult because he doesn't have that capacity, but I understand where he's coming from. It's the same thing with kid media. You can completely understand where those characters are coming from. It's not the same thing as adult characters, and we know that because it's not the same media.
Liam had something you want to say.
What's up?
So what I want to try to get here, because this is a bunch of back and forth, and what I noticed on Charles' side in particular is that, again, I think that ultimately, if you can provide a reason for viewing these mediums, whether you want to do a case study because you're into film, or you can appreciate a good story, then you would say that you'd be justified in watching this as an adult, watching these.
And I can narrow this down to,
Okay.
and I'll be super quick with this. I'm saying that I wouldn't characterize the whole show of Clone Wars as being something that can be viewed as both an adult and a child show, versus there are specific scenes in the Clone Wars where you might be able to identify with that character. That doesn't mean that the whole show is it can go between a kid's show and an adult's show. There are super specific scenes where it's really impressive that you can bridge the gap between a kid and an adult, but that's about where it stops for me. There's one scene in game, the portal scene. It's super inspirational. The whole thing is built around like getting you excited and invested and all that kind of stuff. Love it, but there's one scene that I can point out.
So that being said, ultimately, are you of the opinion that adults should generally avoid watching stuff like that?
I think that if I were to say you should watch the Clone Wars because there's a lot of adult themes, would be super inaccurate and would be encouraging a waste of that person's time.
Okay. What about just watching?
Just watching the Clone Wars because it's a good TV show.
Then I would say you're wasting your time, but if you get personal satisfaction out of it, okay, it's a guilty pleasure. You should be ashamed of it.
I would. Okay.
Absolutely not.
So
Is it
let me.
so
should
you
be ashamed
with
of
the
it.
same lens of Avatar: Last Airbender?
Yes, if I was out like on a train watching Avatar: The Last Airbender, I would be embarrassed if somebody looked over my shoulder and saw that I was watching Avatar: The Last Airbender.
So
you can gain pleasure from doing something embarrassing.
not necessarily. Again, have you seen the Clone Wars?
Yeah.
Okay.
Couple of times,
The whole of
yeah.
the Clone Wars.
Yeah, the whole of Clone Wars,
All
the
right, roll
whole
it
of Rebels, the whole this is stuff that I again,
Shut up, you fucking nerds.
dude. I
You brought this up.
look.
You're
it's-
the one that brought this topic.
I cannot say more clearly. If you do these things, if you watch these shows, if you partake in activities that are against the norm, that's fine.
I have a question.
I'm still gonna judge you for
do-
it,
I-
and it's okay
yeah.
to be embarrassed, but also find pleasure in doing certain
sure.
things. That's fine. But the reality of the world is that sometimes those things are gonna be looked on as negative.
Okay.
And that's reality. Like, okay, accept
you
that
should
you're going
and you
against
should
the grain,
ignore
but
that.
don't sit there and argue, no, you should accept this
no.
because I enjoy it. No, nobody has to accept anything just because you enjoy it. It's okay to go against the norm, but you still need to acknowledge reality that sometimes those things are looked down upon.
Hell yeah! What a great
Thanks for
episode.
watching. Thanks for agreeing
Yeah.
with me.
Nope,
As
no
always,
one
me
agreed
and
with
Jacob
you.
are completely right.
Nope. Look again.
No.
Look, if you live your
And
life
it comes to the
responsibly,
end where
it
I was
doesn't
the only
really
one who was
matter
right,
what you do
just
on your
to be
free
fair,
time,
and
as long as it
everybody
doesn't
agreed
harm
with
other
me.
people and it doesn't stagnate
pretty
you
sure that
as
we
an
disconnected.
individual.